Before we begin this episode, I would like to have a moment of silence for Bahamian music legend Ronnie Butler. Thank you, Ronnie, for all that you did for the Bahamas. You will be greatly missed. Hey, what's up? You're tuned into another episode of ProGuidanceXIII, where 13 is stylized in Roman numerals. I know it's getting kind of old, but hey, that's going to be the thing for this show. I'm your voice of choice, Hips, also known as Hidden in Plain Sight, and I'm so glad that you are rocking with me today. Today's going to be a pretty interesting one. So lately, I was talking with an old acquaintance of mine just the other day, and we was talking about this natural hair movement. Lately, it's been a thing about natural hair where there's a bunch of pros and cons about, well, more specifically, people of color growing their hair naturally and embracing it, empowering themselves to be as natural and realistic as possible. And I am totally for the movement. But unfortunately, there's some parties and entities in this world that just thinks that it shouldn't be a thing, and that going natural is primitive, ugly, and it's not becoming, and that it's really unkept or whatever. But today I just want to speak briefly about the movement of the natural hairstyles, and that has to do with afro puffs, kinky hairstyles for the females, dreadlocks, which a lot of people like, and definitely the one that has been on the rise in the last about 2 to 3 years. And the one that I am also a part of is the beard gang movement. Yes, the beard gang movement. It was the best decision I ever made to grow out my beard. I'm very attached to it. I'm very proud of it at the moment, and I am so happy that I eventually chose to grow out my beard. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the journey. I appreciate what it means to me. It's attached to me. It's a part of me. It's a part of my identity at the moment. And probably later down the line, I could get into some pros and cons of me actually having this beard too. But for the most part, I really like it, and I think I'm gonna keep it for a good long while. But to start things off, I want to tell you a little story about me actually deciding to grow my beard. The thing is, way back when I was in high school, which was about 10 billion decades ago, because I'm an old head now. Anyway, but way back when, I remember starting grade 7, and I was a maturing young male, I was 13 at the time, and I was blessed to grow facial hair more quicker than my other counterparts and my fellow classmates in high school. And speaking of classmates, I was growing it faster than some of my schoolmates, because some guys in grade 12 were still surging to get this one strand of hair on their chin or whatever, and I was pretty much growing fully grown mustaches and beard by the time the end of grade 7 was rolling around. So unfortunately, as time progressed in high school, they started to crack down and enforce the rules of our high school rule book, and dress code was one of the rules that they really enforced a whole lot. And unfortunately, one of the rules was young men must keep their facial hair trimmed and groomed and kept. But that wasn't necessarily the case in their minds, I believe. And I'm not really saying any of this to downplay my high school. I am not trying to really speak bad towards them, because I really enjoyed my time in high school and I appreciate all that I learned in high school or whatever. So do not take this as anything me negative or bashing high school or whatever. But at that time, it was just almost nonsensical for us to have to really abide by those certain rules with dress code. Like, I understand law and order and to have a structure put in place and everybody must be uniform. But when it comes down to natural aspects of anybody's body, especially when it comes down to hair, I think that there are some rules that are meant to be broken that could be bypassed, and this was one of the rules, I think, because as a young man growing up, my facial hair would have kept growing, I could have always trimmed it or whatever, but it wasn't necessarily healthy to take some clippers to my beard about each week at that point in time. It was still young, coming in and growing, and sometimes that would have caused like some bad skin problems with a lot of the other young males who facial hair was growing at a rapid pace in our high school at that moment. Even though it seems like in the years recently that this natural hair movement has just sprung up out of nowhere, no, this has been an ongoing story from even before my time. But it's just that now with social media and all of these other avenues to actually put it to the forefront, it's getting out there a whole lot more, and I'm appreciative of that, you know, to get people aware and give them the knowledge they need to know about these certain things. But unfortunately, what I don't like is just the discrimination against people who want to go natural and keep themselves natural, wear their hair naturally, whether it may be dreadlocks, afros, beards, whatever may have you. I think the main thing is once anybody keeps their hair well kept, neat, tidy, and groomed, even in a natural style, that's good. And that's how we should look at it. Obviously, if it's unkept and untidy and it's really diminishing the value of whatever experience that you're having, whether it may be that you work for a certain establishment and it's diminishing the value of the customers that come in to patronize your business, or whether it's going out in the public eye to a social event and it's just not really attractive to look at, and if you're not keeping it well where it smells bad or whatever, then obviously I can understand and cope with all of the arguments against keeping your hair naturally growing, and I agree in those cases. But at the same time, some people make it so ridiculous where some people who want to legitimately be natural keep themselves nice and groomed in a natural hairstyle, and some people saying no, it's not right. It's 2017. There is no way that we should be discriminating on people's personal choices of their body to be as natural as possible, to be as realistic as possible. I just don't understand this in 2017 that we're still here in that moment with everything so fake going on around us, all type of fake news going on, jokes in the States because their president is a big joke in our country itself with these governments and stuff going back and forth. These are other topics that I could get on in another episode or whatever, but with so much stuff going on in the world, really for your argument to be like, oh, your hair is a little bit nappy and it's so wild and it's untamed, and come on now, you're gonna really look in our face and say, you go home, you don't deserve to be working here today until you come back and you have your hair straightened, your hair perm, or if you shave off all your like really man, like real talk, this what we talking about in 2017? Come on now, come on. We need to be advancing the world in so much more other ways. It ain't how you look about advancing the world, but it's what you're gonna do to advance this world. And the main thing is, like I'm saying, I'm gonna keep repeating this in this episode, most of these people want to keep themselves groomed. They make it very neat and tidy and they look really attractive with it. It looks really nice. Really nice. But some people just ain't having it. They stuck in this old discriminatory mindset, you know, where I don't want to say racist, but geez, man, you know, it's just depressing. It is very just depressing that we're still in this time of day and these things are happening or whatever. But as hard as some people are just trying to put it down, I must say I do appreciate the amount of awareness over the last few years that has become of people wanting to wear natural styles. More women are embracing it. More women don't feel pressured to have to fit a mold, especially women of natural color. Don't feel pressured to have to fit a certain mold to fit in or to look right or to get paid more or whatever the reason that they may claim being processed would benefit for you. I love the silent revolution that a lot of people are doing, because it's not that we're out here with picket signs or throwing a lot of cocktails or bombs or whatever else may have you out there. We ain't even making noise. We're just saying, you know what? I just gonna stand for my right to do whatever the hell I want with my body. And if that means growing my hair naturally, if that means having dreadlocks, if that means having a beard, that means having kinky styles, whatever, I'm gonna do it. And I am proud of people that actually take that stand against the ridiculous mindset of the other ones who try to make our lives miserable just because, we're associated with something that was associated with bad times back in the past. The thing is, in this world, we need to move forward. We shouldn't be moving back. We take experiences from our past to learn and develop from them, and we look towards the future in helping to make this world a better place. That's what it's all about. And if these individuals, myself included, are making this world a better place, regardless of how we look and how we keep ourselves, I think that should hold a whole lot more weight than somebody who looks the part of a saint, who looks like Jesus' second coming, and they're really just bringing destruction to this world. Really think about it. That's horrible, in my opinion. But anyway, like I said, I really appreciate the movement, and in the years past, there has been a lot of things happening in this country alone, aka the Bahamas, where people have just stood out and embraced their naturality. And that's good, because there was a few stories. There was a young girl who was suspended from school one day because she had an afro puff, and that became into a whole movement within itself. I actually did a photo shoot on that in collaboration with D Newton Photography. Yeah, we did that in support of all the females, anybody actually, females or males, men or women, who wanted to wear their hair naturally and embrace it and say, look here, we're not gonna stand down against this, because we are people who have these features and we should be happy and proud about them. So yeah, I did a photo shoot on that. Also, there's been, numerous stories about people being suspended from their job because they was wearing a natural puff or whatever. And they took it to social media, and the support has been overwhelmingly positive. And I'm happy that people are sticking together, whether they have natural hair, processed hair, or whatever, to say that, listen here, it's a bigger picture than just seeing the hair or wanting to keep yourself natural. It's just having a right, a humanistic right to do what you want with your own life. This is what I'm not understanding. Why are people trying to either censor your life or tell you what to do when it's none of their concern? It's literally none of their concern. I understand that people can actually talk to you, give you suggestions, and say, well, you just want to make sure you watch your back and you want to make sure you leave a good impression in other people's minds, and that's fine. I totally agree with that also. But at the end of the day, everybody is their own individual, and we can't be too anal about these things. The next thing is, some people putting color in their hair. There's a lot of young women who like to express themselves a little bit more, and they decide to put some really outrageous, outlandish colors, something that is not of the norm in their hair. Some red, some blue, some green, some yellow, some gold, or whatever. And it's becoming more popular. And I mean, while I wasn't a fan of it at first, at the end of the day I said, who am I to judge? Who am I to say what they can do with their hair? If that's how they feel like expressing themselves, I am just happy that they feel comfortable to express themselves in that certain type of way. It goes for any and everybody who wants to do whatever they want to do when it comes to their hair or whatever else with their body. Now, some things are really harmful and hazardous. I would advise them not to do certain things with their bodies, but once again, like I say, at the end of the day, it's an ultimate decision that everybody has to make for their own selves. Another thing is, I was actually part of the beard gang movement that I introduced earlier on in this episode, and within the last, let's say, 2 to 3 years, beards have been the pretty much in thing, and I just felt like a triumphant victory when I heard that news, basically, because it's like, wow, something that I have been pretty much banished for. I tell you no lies, I served in-house suspension back in high school because I was pretty much growing a beard. And now it's to the point where I just recently was part of a magazine article because of my beard. Beards are the in thing now, and a guy with a beard, sorry to say, you guys who ain't got nothing on your face, we're hotter than the guys without beards, straight up. Of course, that's subjective. Everybody has their own opinion or whatever, and that's fine. But it's so good to embrace being able to just be your natural self now. And I have this beard now, and like I said, I plan to keep it for a good long time. Hopefully, I don't know, I might try something unique with it. I can't wait till the point where I, start becoming a silver fox and I have some grace and a salt and pepper effect look going on with it. I think that's going to be just the right amount of maturity, youthfulness. I look forward to, let me stop gawking over myself, yeah. But anyway, natural hairstyles. Tell me what you guys think about it in the comments below, or you guys can contact me and tell me what you guys really think about this natural, embrace yourself empowerment movement going on nowadays. Are you guys for it? Are you guys against it? I won't judge you if you guys are against it or whatever, but just know that everybody has a choice to do whatever he or she pleases to do with herself. And you could just voice your opinion. You have the right and the freedom of speech, but at the end of the day, everybody does what they want to do for themselves and to themselves. So let's not make too much of a big deal if somebody wants to keep their hair natural, somebody wants to put color in their hair, somebody wants to grow a beard that goes all the way to the ground. That's epic level wizardry right there. That's the level that I'm trying to obtain. Just to let you guys know, what I'm saying. But yeah, when me and that acquaintance, we were talking about it, it's just, let's just stop being ridiculous about it. Embrace the natural hair, do what you gotta do, and just mind your own business and make your own money and continue on smartly with your own life. If it's not really affecting or interfering with your life, then what should it matter? I think that's my 5 cents. That's all I gotta really say about it. So thanks for listening to this next episode of Pro Guidance 13. The funny thing is I keep calling this thing parental guidance in my mind. I have to be so cognizant in remembering that this is not parental guidance. I'm just so used to everybody calling me parental guidance and PG-13. But anyway, thanks for listening. Once again, thanks for your support. I appreciate each and every one of you who listen to this show week in and week out, and I definitely am going to keep on top of my game to give you guys more content as long as you guys are willing to listen. As long as one person is still willing to listen, I'm still ready to do this project. I'm really passionate about it, and I hope that you guys are informed and entertained each and every week. I would like to say thank you to all of you who submitted photos for this episode. I really couldn't have done it without you, so I'd like to say thanks once again. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. This is Hidden in Plain Sight, signing out.